Aries and Leo. So with this combination, this is kind of a no-brainer. With Aries and Leo, these two are very similar signs. So much so, in fact, that I would say, like, other than dating your own sign, this is going to be the combination where you're working with the sign most similar to you. I think this is pretty commonly known. Aries is cardinal fire. Leo is fixed fire. Both are fire signs. Both are very fiery. Both are known for being very independent, very assertive, very outgoing. Both can be a little bit self-centered at times, which is not necessarily a bad thing, especially when with this dynamic both are going to be like receptive to each other, like because both have a similar method of expressing themselves. They have similar ways of going about their needs and things like that, similar ways of expressing their desires. They're not necessarily going to be offended by, if the other one is a little bit self-centered or, a little bit, what's the word, like a little bit belligerent or outgoing or overly enthusiastic. Both of these signs are the same way, so they can kind of be naturally very understanding of each other. So that's why I say this is a no-brainer. Both have so much in common. It's generally going to be very easy for these signs to understand each other, and it's going to be easy to maintain a long-term dynamic, whether that be a friendship or romantic relationship, whatever it is, whatever placements are in these signs. It's going to tend to be pretty easy. I can only really think of a couple issues that I have with this pairing. One is that, sometimes mixing two very similar energies does have its downsides, and that does kind of differ depending on which energies we're talking about. With these signs in particular, both Aries and Leo can really enjoy being the center of attention. So I could see how there could be a bit of rivalry, a bit of competitiveness between these two energies, between these two different people. But even that may not necessarily be a bad thing, because I think both of these signs enjoy a challenge. They both enjoy a chase. They may not necessarily be, they may not shy away from that kind of competitiveness. It may be slightly irritating at times, but I could also see it kind of, a little bit of tension can actually make things a little bit passionate. So there could be that competition for, the attention or what have you. But again, that may not necessarily be the worst thing in the world. The only other issue I could really see kind of applies to whenever you're dealing with two energies that are similar in general between two different people. And that would be to say that basically, like, for me to be more in love with this combination, I would like to see a little bit more difference. I think these signs almost risk being too similar, so much so to the point where this may not necessarily be a very complementary dynamic. Both of these signs are going to have the same strengths, the same weaknesses, so it may actually be a little bit boring. I mean, that being said, both of these signs are very fiery. They are very action oriented. They both will probably lead very adventurous lifestyles. Both will be outgoing, both will be focused on like, new things, new developments, new activities. So it won't be boring in that sense. However, I just think it's a little bit more sexy, generally speaking, when we are with someone that is a little bit more different from ourselves, because then there's a little bit of mystery, there's a little bit of intrigue. It makes the dynamic potentially more challenging, but also more interesting. Do you get what I'm saying? So that definitely isn't something to like totally destroy this whole dynamic by any means whatsoever. I just think, maybe it's because I'm biased as an astrologer. I like to see relationships where we can kind of grow with each other. And Aries and Leo, I feel like, they're more just going to relate to each other. There's no really need to grow with each other because the dynamic is just so easy right off the bat. So with all that being said, I'm going to give them 4 out of 5. Again, this is a really easy dynamic. I definitely see a friendship being very strong between these signs because of their similarities. Whether that friendship is part of something more, I think depends on what other energies are in the charts. Again, that's where I'd like to see a little bit more difference, maybe some other element kind of in the mix as well. But if we're just talking about Aries and Leo, definitely great friends. I think both are going to have a lot of fun together. Both are very action oriented, etc., etc. So I hope you enjoyed this analysis, and stay tuned. I'm going to do all the different combinations of signs. Okay, thanks for watching. See you later.